Welcome to the Knowledgeable Podcast, episode 4. Disclaimer: anything I say in this for financial advice or anything about anything is not to go out and do, especially with financial advice. Do not go out and buy a certain stock or go out and do some other type of other thing, like buying a bond or whatever. It's not advice. This is just for, really honestly, just for views and entertainment, to be honest with you, and tell you how I view the world in my perception, and maybe that's wrong or right, I don't know, but that's up to you to decide. So let's get started. Today I guess I'll go more in depth into the government as a whole. So I think the governments are really, 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 really corrupt, as I probably told you guys before this time. And a lot of people probably will go out there and say, oh, you're against America. No. If I was against America, then I wouldn't be going out there saying that, Zimbabwe has a very bad government. Then almost any government you live in is very, very bad. Just one thing before I continue on. I think I have a cold or something, so if it sounds like I'm nasal, that's why. So moving on, continuing with the Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe is a country, just like any other country, okay? So I think nationalism is very interesting because globalism isn't working. But I think the people that are trying to take over nationalism, and I would say Trump is one of those people, I think he was doing an okay job trying to do that. But I don't think everything he did was good about it. Because I think if he was really about nationalism, why would he allow people to persuade him into a dangerous, dangerous vaccine that didn't actually help anybody? They actually lied. Okay, and I know this is probably going to be biased thing here, but they lied. Maybe to him, maybe he was fooled, I don't know. But if you were fooled, why are you still out there championing? I did, look at this, I made the vaccine, I got this, da 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 da. I don't know. I don't like the vaccine. I did end up getting it because my family, and I don't put anything against my family at all, but, and again, it wasn't all my family, it was actually some of my family, so I should say that. It was some of my family. Some members of my family wanted me to get the vaccine so bad that they pressured me into getting it. I still blame myself for getting it because at the end of the day, it was my fault. But that is really the reason why I got it. I really just wanted people, and it wasn't just my family, there were other people that around me that were like, not nudging me, but when we would talk about it, they were like, oh, you don't have the vaccine, and, I would tell them, well, that's because I don't take the flu shot. And I still believe that is a true statement, because I never gotten the flu. And, I hope I never get the flu, of course. But, I think there's something in these shots that you're more likely to get. You have to continuously get these shots to hope and pray you don't get the COVID. And I took 2 shots, that's it. Never took a booster in my life. I never will take a shot like that again. And I got another vaccine, the meningitis one. I won't take the second one because the first one, which I got, the newer meningitis vaccine, was optional. Which is, I shouldn't have, I wasn't peer pressured into getting that. That was on me. I was an idiot for getting that, okay? I was an idiot for getting that. I didn't stick to my guns. Idiotic for me to do that. So, well, my point is this. Going back to nationalism. Nationalism could be very good, but is it really going to save humanity as a whole? I don't know. there's good things with anything we do, but there's a lot of negatives, and you have to look at those negatives and say, are they really going to be better than the positives with this type of thing? So, like when you look at globalization, globalization is very big and very bold, but globalization is also very damaging to countries, and you can see. And the people that are running this globalization mantra that they are, which now I think they're slowly trying to get out of the globalization, but they're still globalizationists, I call them. Globalization didn't help everybody, okay? And I'm not saying that nationalism is going to help anybody either, okay? I'm not saying that. But, excuse me, but globalization as a whole can be very damaging, okay? Because if you look at, I guess we could say, we could actually just look at America. So the cities, which are really bad, so I don't they build up the cities and then now look at them, they're terrible. I mean, most of the cities in our country, unless you go down to Miami, maybe go down to Florida, they're still okay. They're not great, but they're still okay. But if you look at most of the cities, globalization is because of that. I mean, that's why we have a whole lot of people in those cities, right? Now, maybe it's because of other reasons. You probably could argue that, sure. But globalization is part of the reason. One of the other reasons why globalization is bad is because if you look at rural America, I believe a lot of those people have been forgotten. And I know people are going to say, well, that's not that many people. Well, okay, fine. I guess you could probably argue that. But it's probably still 10% of the population. So what are you going to do? Kill them all? And then if you look at the cities where that is many, many people, is that really helping people? I don't think so. So I don't really think globalization, it worked to grow the economy. I think it's a decent idea. But when you have corporations and you have people that are, and I'm going to keep repeating this because it's so important for you to understand this. When you have people in power for so long, okay? The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. I mean, these are just not the only families. The DuPonts, people that Bill Gates, for instance, now, George Soros now, all different people. Klaus Schwab, he doesn't own a corporation, but whatever. When all these people become corrupt, become powerful people that are in power or have notoriety or influence, usually not everyone, maybe not even most of them, but a lot of times people in power at least become corrupt after a while. It's just human nature and it's just how it is because people start to realize, oh, well, we can get away with this, so why don't we just keep doing this? So the reason why I stopped believing in climate change, like the climate change movement, the climate is changing every day. I know that, and some Joe Schmo in the corner says it's idiotic. Then they better have a good reason on why it's not, because the climate is changing every day. Now, if it's for the better or not, I don't know, but it is changing every day, and that is a definite. That's just what it is. And I believe that we do have problems with our climate. I'm not going to disagree with those people that say that. But how bad they make it seem like, I find hard to believe. And I'll tell you why. So Bill Gates, right? George Soros, right? World Economic Forum, right? So they come out here and they talk about blah, 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 blah. And they say all this crap and they say, and then you go to the White House and Joe Biden and his cronies say, well, you should stop using, I'm not saying this is how he speaks, but I'm just talking about in general. You should stop using your air conditioners, your washer machines, dishwashers, your stoves, your gas stoves. We shouldn't be using it. You should use electric stoves. Okay, Okay, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between electric stoves and gasoline stoves? No, I'm being honest. What is the difference? There are differences, but I mean, like, what is the difference that affects the climate? Because I don't really see as much of a difference. Because both of them affect the climate at probably the same rate. You're just changing one thing into another thing, and what electric stoves actually do is when you lose power, you will not be able to use electric stoves. Which a lot of people, I think, do have gasoline stoves, but they still need electric to be able to use it. Whatever. But with gas stoves, you could probably turn it on and put, if you have like a match, or you have like one of those things where you can burn it, you might be able to do it. I don't know. I never tried it, but I think you can. I don't know, so don't do that. But you might be able to. Might be able to light up. So, but yeah. So I think it really depends on our eternity. Electricity is great, but does it? I mean, you could look at cars. Are cars really good for society? And there's a lot of arguments that cars are good, but there's also a lot of arguments that cars are bad. For instance, kills people. Another instance, it you know you know it let families be separated because now they were longer distance away. So now their ideas are now totally different, and now they expanded them into different sections of the globe, or maybe in different sections of the country. And I'm just talking about transportation as a whole. I probably should have said that. And so that's a big negative in my opinion, because you have separated people. I've heard this from someone. I actually agreed with them. You're separating people. Now, I'm not saying that that is a big negative, because there's positives. It's faster to get places than walking. It's faster to get things. It's better because blah blah blah. But again, all these technologies that were phones, for instance, which I'm videotaping from my phone right now, are they really good? In some circumstances, yes. It depends on the circumstance. But, there's still a lot of negatives. Like, for instance, first of all, these companies can track you. The government can track you. These companies can track you, and they have collected data on you. Which is really bad. But us as clowns, me included, because I consider myself a clown and an idiot at times, I still use this stuff. But, I'm not saying you should stop using phones. That's not my point. My point is this, and I'm not saying stop using cars or stop using this. My point is this. Technology is great, but technology is being exploited to surface certain people. To serve certain people. And those certain people, are they really in the best interest of humanity? Are they in the best interest for themselves and other people that have power and money? And I'll tell you something. I'm probably going to be the person that probably sits right across from you and will tell you, I like more rich people than you probably do. I mean, I probably could say that. But also sit there and tell you and agree with you that there are certain rich people that are bad. Okay? Because I can show you rich people that are pretty nice and aren't trying to destroy the world. And I think I don't consider Bill Gates working hard. I really don't, And I'm not saying that he did work hard. He worked harder than me. I could sit up here and tell you that. Now, in the future, will he? No. I'll be working harder than him. But, he was a very good businessman. And I think a lot of people are like this, that are like him. Not all of them. A lot of them are control freaks, power freaks. and he is one of them. If you see what he says, so going back to the climate change people, and this is why I don't believe in him. And I know I went on a diversion and whatever. These climate change people, I don't agree with it because they're telling you to stop using all this stuff, stop driving your cars, stop doing this, stop eating meat. They don't want you to eat meat anymore. They want you to eat their meat. So they want you to eat labbed meat, which is actually worse than regular meat. What? And it's actually worse for the environment. They don't tell you this. That's the funny part. You ever heard of the company Beyond Meat? It's labbed plant food meat. No one tells you this, but Bill Gates has investments in that company. Oh, you gotta follow the money, guys. And he does. And, if I really wanted to, I could probably invest in it. I would never invest in it because, first of all, it's a trash of a company. Unless I was trading it. If I was trading it, that means I'm going in and out. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Done, see you later. I would not invest in that company at all because, first of all, it's a trash of a company. And you're going to sit there and go, what do you mean? Well, okay. It's overvalued. They have never made any profit yet. At least that says they made profit. They might have made gross profit, but they have never made any profit. That means bad company. That's what I consider a bad company right now. That possibly could have growth, but not enough to really make me be very attracted to the stock. So that's number one. But number two, I don't like them because they're being used as a manipulation machine so they can make you eat lab meat, which is actually worse than meat and is also worse for the environment. And they somehow tell you that it is actually better. It's very good. It might be very good food. I don't know. I never tried it. But it's not good for the environment. So why is Bill Gates telling you to do this stuff when stop driving your cars? I'm not just talking about him. It's not just him. It's George Soros. It's Klaus Schwab. It's people at the World Economic Forum. A lot of other big, powerful people. They're telling you to use electric vehicles. Yeah. They want you to use electric vehicles so they can be able to have control over your vehicles. And the reason why they want self-driving vehicles is so now they'll have full control. Because when they have self-driving vehicles, they'll be able to, if you have too many outstanding, parking tickets that you forgot to pay or you didn't pay, well, they're just going to send you to the jail. Which you could argue that maybe is right or wrong, I don't know. But I find that very demoralizing because I think they would exploit that even more than just that little thing. Like they would exploit it as, oh, you said something bad on social media, you said something bad on X, Y, and Z, we didn't like that, so we're going to send you to the prisons, and we're going to take you, you're in your car, hey, we're just going to take you right there. That's the problem with it. That's why central bank digital currencies are very bad, because they can reprogram. If you say something bad and the government doesn't like what you said, now they can reprogram it and you get all your money wiped out. And guess who gets it? Them. And they'll just start plopping it all over the place. If they think you got too much money that year, then they're going to tax you all this extra cash. They're going to fee you every single thing about climate change, about this, about that. That's why central bank digital currencies are one of the worst things that ever will be invented and ever will come out that will be very bad for humanity. It will have full control for the governments. It will have full control over everything that you do. They'll be able to fee you. They'll be able to take money out of whatever they want, and then they'll be able to reprogram it. So you will have to understand what's going on. You will have to figure out a way. You will have to figure out a way to not be tracked by the government. That's the problem with these central bank digital currencies that are going to be coming out. So again, I know I got sidetracked, but going back to the climate change. So climate change is a fad. It's a fraud. It's a scam. Okay? The climate is always changing. It isn't as bad as they make it seem like. There is a problem. I'm not saying that we shouldn't fix anything. I think, in some capacity we do have to fix some things. But it's not as bad as they make it seem like, because if it was as bad as they made it seem like, then, first of all, Why aren't you changing the way? Why aren't like the people that are saying all this stuff? Leonardo DiCaprio, Joe Biden, all these clowns, they still fly on private jets, which actually causes worse stuff than regular cars. And if they say that it's really bad for the environment, then why don't I see them driving electric vehicles? It's all a fraud and a scam. Stop believing in their nonsense. That's why I don't believe them anymore. Because I thought about it. I said, listen, how is it possible that these people, they're telling me that I have a problem, that I am the problem why the earth is going bad? Maybe we are. We probably have some effect on the earth's climate, sure. But if it's really that bad, then why aren't you stop flying on your private jets? If you're telling me that I can't drive a car, I can't do this, but you still can drive a car, you still can fly your private jets, and you still can go out and eat regular meat. But I have to eat insects. I have to eat Beyond Meat, labbed meat. That's what you want me to eat. Yeah. Why don't I do this? Why don't I not do that? Because if you believe in this nonsense, then you are saying that you are okay with losing your rights, with losing the stuff that you have, and you're okay with these people still being able to do that stuff. So you're okay with that. I just want you to understand what that means with climate change. If you support the climate change movement. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be going out there saying that we have a problem, we need to fix some things. We do. There are problems out there with our climate. There's a lot of pollution. They just throw trash into the ocean and think it's like hallelujah. That's a problem. And that does create pollution. I'm not going to say that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing that some of the stuff that smoke that comes out of the cars and comes out of us is affecting our climate. It probably is. But is it as bad as they make it seem like? Because if it was as bad as they made it seem like, then why haven't they changed anything? Why haven't themselves, these rich people, changed, the ones that are speaking about this, that are saying it's really bad, you have to change something. And until you do, Earth's going to be bad. Why haven't you then? Because I don't see you stop playing on your private jets. I'm going to keep drilling this in your head because you got to understand this. I don't see the Bill Gates, Leonardo DiCaprio stop flying in his private jets, yachts. They don't stop going in their yachts. They haven't stopped eating meat. They haven't stopped eating this. Now I don't know about Bill Gates. I think he might be a vegetarian, but I don't know. They haven't. I don't think he is. They haven't stopped investing in these companies that are really bad for your body. So I don't want to hear it. If the climate was so bad, then why don't you stop doing all these things? The reason why they want you to stop doing it, you, not them, you. The reason why they're blaming you on all this stuff is because they know there's a problem that is coming maybe in the future, way down in the future, but they're going to exploit it now. And they're going to make it even a bigger problem than what it actually is. And then what they're going to do is simple. They're going to say, oh, it's all this, it's this, that, and the other thing. But you're to blame for it. I have nothing to do with it. I'm okay. But you're to blame for it. You have to stop driving your car. You have to stop doing this. You can't own any assets. None, because it's bad for the environment. You. Not them, you. Well, Mr. Bill Gates, why don't you stop doing it? So that's why I don't believe in the climate change nonsense, because they're doing this so they can still live their lives. And also so they can control you more. That's why they're doing it. That's all they're doing. And so they can gain more power from you. And so they can get, I guess you probably could argue that, so they can get even richer. That's why they're doing it. They don't care about the climate. Because if they cared about the climate, they would stop doing what they're doing. And it's not every rich person. There's not every single rich person is not going out there saying there's a problem with the climate, we're going to do this stuff. I don't mind if they have private jets and are using private jets or going on yachts. I don't care. But the people that are telling me I can't go and drive a car, or I can't get my own private jet, or can't fly up on a private jet, I never have. But I'm just saying I can't go on an airplane. That's pathetic. Why does some clown get to dictate what me, myself, and I am doing so he can continue to live his lifestyle or her lifestyle? But I can't? No. Again, I'm not saying that we're not going to have to give something up at some point. Because like I said, we do have problems. Our climate does have problems. Then why don't we find ways to make energy free? Why don't we find ways to make energy from other things that are actually going to benefit us? Because the solar panels that they claim that are actually going to help us are not. They're not. Because what they don't tell you is, they don't tell you this, they don't tell you. They're a step in the right direction. But what they don't tell you is that the solar panels, after a certain time period, which is usually around 20 to 25 years, maybe even 30, the products that they use, they can't renew it. So the energy is renewable, but the solar panel itself is not. So it's just going to be in a landfill. And that's the same problem with electric vehicles. The other problem with electric vehicles that they don't explain to you is that electric vehicles actually, instead of it coming out of the car, being all the stuff, it's by the way it's made. And actually, when it drives, you still are going to get some stuff go in the air. It's not going to be as much as, just all this stuff. But it's still going to be enough to really do a damage when it's made, like when the car is made itself. Because you have to go through a quarry. You have to find all this stuff. So you're drilling down in the earth, which what they use is these Cat machines, the big construction machines. Well, they're all bad to the environment. So if it really was really that good, plus they're using young kids to make these products. Oh yeah, they don't tell you this, they don't tell you that. Yeah. Now I know what you're gonna say. Well, it makes it cheaper. I don't think it would really make it that much cheaper. Because if they really wanted to make things cheaper and say it should be cheaper, then why don't they look at their balance sheet and go, okay, we don't have to make this much profit, we'll just scam it down to here. So no, I don't really think it's really that. I think it's just they want to make it a big profit, so they use these people, and yeah, that's why this whole society makes no sense. That's why we live in a corporatocracy. We don't live in a capitalist system. We live in a fascism. Private corporations run the government. They lobby every day. Every day. They are at Congress lobbying. Well, it's good for you to smoke. It's good for you to do this. It's good for you to do this and own this and own this and own this and do this and do this and do this. It's all about them. It's never about helping society. I don't mind if a rich person is wanting to do something like that. But why are you doing it to profit off of a person getting endangered? Like if you look at I call the pharmaceutical companies the biggest cartels out there. I mean, they are. Think about it. Just think about it. If the biggest cartels were Sinaloa cartel down in Mexico, selling all these drugs, well, they don't make as much money as Pfizer does, and most of the pharmaceutical companies, at least the bigger guys, a lot of their medicine doesn't actually help you. Okay? It helps you in the short term, yes, but if it was actually going to help you, I mean actually helping you, I don't mean in the short term, I mean so you only have to take 10 pills and you're done, and you're cured from that thing. Well, you're not. Because the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to be doing that. They want you to keep coming and 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 coming again and again and again and again. They want you to keep coming and get that pill so they can make more money, because it affects their bottom line. If they can't make all that money, well, they ain't going to get rich. That's why the pharmaceutical companies and all these drugs are scams, because they don't actually cure you. They only cure you in the short term. They don't cure you in the long term. And a lot of these pills are not, they're not even pills. They're just stupid things that they just made up out of thin air. And some of these companies actually kill people by these pills. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying most of them. It just happened with some of them that actually killed them. And they knew it was a problem. They knew it. And they did absolutely nothing about it. Nothing. They knew it caused this. They knew it caused this. They didn't say anything. But they wanted to make money. Money, money, money. You should sing the song. In a rich man's world. The problem with society is about greed. Everyone's greedy. I'm even greedy. Everyone has greedy in them. I don't mind if you want to be a corporation and want to make money. But when you make money off of other people's problems, and I don't mean just like small problems. I mean, everyone that's owns a business is making money from someone's problems, you know? But I mean like health problems. But you exploit them to the amount of ways so they have to keep coming and coming and coming and coming back. That's why these corporations are fraudulent. Well, at least the pharmaceutical ones. But all these corporations are liars. They're scumbags. They're losers. That's why I think we have a problem in our world. And again, I'm not against corporations. Okay? Again, I probably would like more corporations than you would. I just think it's wrong the way they do business is all I'm saying. Certain companies, at least. And I think we need to change that. Because I think it's hurting us in the future. These companies lobby all the time. They lobby, they lobby, they lobby, they lobby, they lobby, they lobby. Why are they lobbying? Like, that's what we should be asking. Why are they lobbying the government? They're lobbying so they can get a little bit of something correct, get a little richer. I just disagree. I disagree with that policy. I do. Because it's bad for our community. It's bad for our society in the long term. I agree with people that say that we shouldn't have billionaires. They're not helping our society. I don't know. I know I just said I agree. I didn't mean to say that. I should have said I don't disagree or agree with that statement. That's what I should have said. I meant to say that. But I understand what the people that are saying that statement, what they're trying to say. Because they're not wrong. Like, if you look at Bill Gates, he's not a technological genius at all. He just bought software from a mathematics person for $50,000. I mean, that's what his whole software was from. And he just was able to build this huge empire because he was a good businessman. if you want to say. I mean, in his business strategy, even though it worked, is, iffy. Is it really nice? Probably not. I don't like Bill Gates because Bill Gates is a fraud. He wants to keep himself in power for as long as possible, and he wants you to stop doing stuff so he can live his way of life and so he can dictate what you can do. He's a control freak. My great uncle, who worked under Bill Gates, now I know you're going to find this hard to believe, and I did at the time, but he worked under Bill Gates. He actually called him. He didn't work for Microsoft. Well, I guess you could argue that he did. But when he took over my great uncle's company that he worked for, when he acquired the company that my great uncle worked for, which was Alfred, it started with an A, Technologies, but that company actually had better technology than Microsoft, and all Microsoft would do is they would just hop from all these companies and they would just take all the technology, just put it in there and destroy the company. And that's what they would do. Which is not bad if you're trying to grow a company. It's pretty smart, I guess in a business sense. But at some point you have to question, what is their gain from doing that? It's at that point it's just them trying to make money, and that's what a company basically is. I mean, but the main purpose is to build something that's supposed to help society or someone's problems. And I don't have anything wrong with him building a company like that way. It's smart. It's a fast way to grow a company, I guess, if you want to say. I don't know. I've never done it, so I couldn't tell you. But I think there's negative effects to it that no one will tell you. No, I'm joking. There's probably not, but the negative effects are the man that he turned into. So there you go. That's probably, I guess, the negative effects to it. And it's probably some others. But yeah, my great uncle had phone calls with him, and he told me that Bill Gates was basically, what he gathered was he was a control freak, and Bill Gates' mother even said that he was a control freak. And I'm not saying that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos and all these other guys aren't control freaks, but I find it hard to believe that it's just Joe Schmo in the corner and it's just blah, 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 blah that are just the only people that are control freaks. I just disagree with that statement. And, I don't know. But I think as a society, we have to stand up to what is the problems that we have in the long term. And I think we have problems. That's what I think. That we have to go out and fix. But I think we're going to fix them. I think we can fix these problems. But I'm going to stop talking about this because it's just getting boring after this, So I guess I go into the stock market, I guess. I don't know. Well, I wanted to tell you that I was right. Sort of. I should say I was right. I kind of guessed. But the QQQ did go over its August highs, and the NASDAQ 100 did. The Dow did back in November, but it's kind of almost slid like this almost. I mean, yeah, it went like this, but it kind of slid like down, and So I don't think that our society and our time as a society, at our time as a society, is very, 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 very interesting. But QQQ doing that and the Dow doing that back in November, to me doesn't mean that we can't hit the October lows or break them. But we might not break them. We may not get back there because maybe that was the bottom and that's it. I don't know. But I still think we have problems down the line isn't being discussed right now, and that's the problem. And I think we're going to have these problems, and the debt limit that just is now being stopped is being stopped. It's being stopped. It's being stopped. It's being stopped from getting communication right now because Republicans walked out because they didn't agree with the Democrats, and the Democrats didn't agree with them. So, whatever. My personal opinion on the debt limit is simple. It's a show, it's a game, and all they're trying to do is wait as long as possible, and then poof, it's going to get passed. I know it's going to get passed because they're not going to let it not get passed because they don't want their name. The politicians, they don't want their names on it. These are the idiots that didn't pass it. In my personal opinion, I wouldn't care if my name was on there that it wasn't. I would actually be happy because, yes, it's going to hurt a lot of people in the short term. A lot of people. And we probably could go into a depression if that happens, which is going to be really bad. But it comes to a point in time and you have to ask yourself, how can we control the amount of debt that we have? Because at some point, we're just going to roll off. And we are just going to have a problem. Even if we keep bringing up the debt limit. At some point, the debt limit keep going up, and then all of a sudden, poof, it doesn't work anymore. And then what are they going to do? And then we're going to collapse anyway, and we're going to have depression anyway. So would you rather get it done now or then? And I know a lot of people are going to say then. I don't blame you for saying that. Because I don't totally believe it was our fault to begin with. Because a lot of times it was the people before us that it was their fault. And I'm not blaming them. But I'm blaming the government for allowing this to happen. But listen, you can make money in these times, so that's all you gotta do. Find ways to make money. And that's how you gotta win. And I think we can do it. I think we honestly can do it. Honestly. I really do. So that's that. I mean, yeah. But I'm probably gonna stop talking. We're gonna end this here because, I'm starting to get tired of talking, and I'm also a little bit tired anyway, because I stayed up a little bit too late. Got another idiotic thing that I do. Thank you for watching, and this is the Knowledgeable Podcast, and subscribe and like it, and I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the comments. I forgot to turn them on. I'm still kind of confused on how to turn them on, but I'll figure them out. Subscribe and like, and yep, and thank you for watching, if you do. See ya. Goodbye.